this so-called healthcare industry. Had a heart attack a month ago. And since then, test after test after test, racking up the bill, probably $150,000 and counting. Back in the hospital for pneumonia and bronchitis that I got in the hospital. That's what the doctor told me. One of the doctors. I've lost count of the number of fucking doctors. Each one a specialist or what, this or that. And they're all doing the exact same fucking thing. They listen to your heart. They say the same fucking question, the same fucking answers. They won't prescribe. They keep prescribing more drugs because the drugs they have prescribed to me are fucking me up, giving me fucking fire hose diarrhea, giving me sinus problems, so it's draining in constantly, and now it's back into my lungs. I can't fucking believe this shit. Over and over and over again. Now I just was in the hospital again a third time because they said, well, if you're feeling those pains, etc., get to the emergency room like right now. So I did, which was a huge mistake because they didn't do basically shit for me. They gave me the same fucking tests over and over again, kept me there overnight because that's how they keep billing you. They want to keep billing you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Oh, the cardiologist will be here to see you. He never shows up for 2 days. They send in a couple of people who are not doctors. They're physician assistants, they're called. They tell me that this stabbing pain in my back and the chest pain in right here, the heart, they're saying, oh no, that's not associated with it. That might be muscular, blah, blah, blah. And I get a different fucking story from every fucking doctor. And they want, oh, pull this drug because we know it's fucking killing you. We know the side effects, but we give it to people anyway. Oh, take this drug because this drug, it might do. These motherfuckers. And I'm still in fucking pain. Not one of them has actually done anything. Oh, except in the hospital, the third time, they wanted to give me morphine right from off the get-go. I'm like, no. So what they do, they give you another drug that has more side effects instead of morphine. And then the next day, I'm like, give me the fucking morphine. And it does almost nothing because it's such a tiny dose. Before that, a month ago, when I was in for the fucking heart attack, they gave me, I said, look, my head is splitting open, from all of this bullshit. I need a painkiller. We can give you some baby aspirin. No. Fucking baby aspirin. I can get fucking aspirin off the shelf. And she goes, well, I can give you some Dilaudid. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So it's either baby aspirin or fucking Dilaudid, which is an opiate, that they used 150 years ago. So give me the Dilaudid. She gives me a shot of Dilaudid. Motherfucker. Now I realize, because I smoked some opium way back in the day, and it basically had the same effect. Your whole body just goes, wow, motherfucker. It's unbelievable. And, if it weren't fucking addictive and it eventually turn you into a fucking junkie living in a cardboard box, I'd say, give that shit to me fucking right now. But they don't want to do it. They don't even want to give you just any kind of regular painkiller. So you end up going and self-prescribing, self-medicating at the goddamn pharmacy. And now the pharmacy, look at this. This is only a fraction of the shit they are giving me. There are now 8 or 9 fucking different medications. And the combination of them, oh yeah, there's side effects, yeah. Thank you. Now I have fire hose diarrhea. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Yeah, my sinuses won't stop draining into my lungs, so now my lungs are fucked up again. Thanks. That's just great. Oh, this drug that they were giving you, it's killing your kidneys. The numbers on your whatchamacallit on your kidneys, they're spiked, you know. See, nobody wants to hear this. They're flipping through 1,000 fucking idiots on like me on YouTube and Facebook and all the rest. People just sitting there broadcasting their fucking stupid lives. Me, I had a fucking heart attack. That's why I'm doing it. And it's mostly condemning the system, condemning these doctors, not so much the nurses. The nurses, you talk to, like, about this stuff to the nurses and they go, yeah, we know. Yeah. They're not going to say too much. Yeah, we know the doctors. And these doctors were all like 12 years old, you know. Like this one, I just saw a cardiologist for no goddamn good reason. I just saw a cardiologist not 2 or 3 days ago, okay? And I just saw the MD yesterday. And they all said the same fucking thing. You guys are just billing the shit out of insurance and Medicare. Medicare's about ready to fucking dump me because of these fucking bills and shit, you know? Oh, fuck me. I don't know who Ingrid is. Ingrid? You get people on the other side of the planet flipping through fucking live feeds, you know, just because I do the same thing. I get addicted to it and you keep going, hoping to see something, you know, worthwhile and interesting. Most of it is just fucking people sitting there doing weird shit, you know, just their lives are just, you know, normally they'd have no outlet and they'd be shut-ins and, you know, weird people that nobody wants anything to do with. But now that they're on the fucking interwebs, god damn it, they're all a star. Me, I don't give a fuck. You know, this fucking heart attack and shit, I'm so fed, and it's St. Anne's Mount Carmel Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. But they're all the same. They're all the same. Riverside Hospital in Columbus, Ohio, I should have sued the shit out of them the time I was in there. Unbelievable. It's almost antagonistic the way they treat you, you know? They don't want nothing to do with you, basically. They just do it because they're making shitloads of money. Tons of fucking money. Hi there. Oh, that young lady. Well, maybe not so young. She didn't look happy either. Everybody going in there, you know, the patients are not happy. We're going broke. The insurance scam industry is probably about ready to collapse, just like every other, you know, government entity or corporate entity. They're all fucking robbing us. Trillions of dollars trillions, thousands of billions being stolen daily. And all these people do is lie. A bunch of Zionist stooges. They're all just fucking well-paid slaves to the fucking Zionists who own everything. Oh, you're not supposed to talk. That's anti-Semitic. Well, first of all, they're not Semitic. The Arabs are the Semites. These people came out, and they're not European Jews or Israeli. They're not Hebrews from Israel. They came out of the fucking Caucasus Mountains, north of Kurdistan. That's where the Human Genome Project narrowed it down. They said, well, you're modern-day Jews, Ashkenazi Jews that spread across Europe and ruined countless fucking kingdoms and then moved on. Now they own everything. The banking system, it rules the world, the central banking system. You find anybody that's not a fucking Jew running that, good luck. They bought into the media over the last century, you know. We sort of had a free media before that. But newspapers and the rest, it's all opinion. Everybody just wanting to tell you their opinion. But now it is all tightly controlled. Media is owned by like two conglomerates, and they're owned lock, stock, and barrel by fucking Zionist Jews. So, motherfuckers, and they proudly say they want to eliminate everybody else. Goyim are fucking cattle. They consider us to be their cattle. We work for them, and the system has worked. They've taken over completely just in the last century. The last half a century, they solidified their power. Any free person in this republic used to be a republic. They've all gone the way of the wayside. And everybody's talking about China. It ain't fucking China. So, you know who runs China? The central bank. You know who owns that? The fucking Zionist Jews. The goddamn Rothschilds went into China in the mid 90s, and set up their gold reserve and their fucking banking system. The Chinese fell for it. So, and the rest of the world is already under their thumb. Africa means nothing because those people, they don't know how to build a building over 2 stories. Anything that is there, it was built by Europeans. And it's steadily being destroyed by, black, whatever you want to call them, Africans. Negroid races. Now, I'm sorry, but they're just lower IQ across the board. 60, 70 IQ if they're lucky. The whole fucking continent. And now they've, even though the Chinese may end up running everything, just merely because of their numbers, they could flood the world with fucking Chinese. But their whole country is a shithole anyway, It might look real modern, but it's all a facade. The people are, for the most part, are just, they're slaves. But they're the model of what's going to happen. Your social credits, when they get rid of it's going to be quite soon. The monetary system is designed to be destroyed over a century, and they've done it. Now they're going to move us into electronic funding, and once that happens, we are done. We are cooked. They won't allow you. They find out you're living off the grid and bartering for stuff. They will come and they will either throw you into prison or they will kill you. And there's plenty of dumb motherfuckers just can't wait to put on a black uniform and do that to people. Now you've got millions. They brought in millions of people of low IQ from shithole nations that can't progress because they can't figure out how to pave a road, that kind of shit. The ones that are paving the roads were the Europeans and now the Chinese. They brought millions of them into this country because they know that's going to fucking just we're surrounded by them. You just look at them and it's like, God, these people are fucking they're dumb. They're from Central, South America. They're from Africa. They're from the islands, various islands. They brought them here specifically because they're stupid and they're just throwing money at them. These guys are making more money than I am, and I'm going broke. And I'm fucking fed up, this whole fucking system. I'm just fucking done with it. I'm fucking real. I have lost weight. I've lost 20 pounds. That's interesting that you noticed that. I'm trying to hang in there. I don't know if you're still there. There's, see, that's another thing. YouTube, at the moment I say certain keywords, they won't let anybody see my shit anyway. I am blacklisted, blackballed. I am fucking persona non grata, and there's millions of people like me, that don't bother doing this kind of thing. But I'll tell you, there are more than 1 million well-armed, not Democrats or Republicans. We are independent people. We hate what's going on. We are well-armed, and I'll tell you, when the day comes, that spark, that voice will wake them all up and say, now's the time, now's the time for all, and not patriots. Patriots is bullshit. Patriotism is a bullshit concept. Mark Twain knew that. It's not patriotism. You know, we're not worshiping the fucking flag or these imbeciles we put into office who are nothing but slaves to the Zionist system. You know, or read the other thing is read the fucking. It came out over a century ago. The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, and they wanted to release that. They wanted people to know their plan because that's part of the ritual. You know, you tell people what you're doing. You know, well, Bill Gates and the rest of those slaves, they're telling people, here's what we're going to do. We're going to release some microbes. We're going to release some viruses, some fucking mRNA stuff. You know, we're going to release it over time that we've made in labs, you know, because people are stupid and the people working in the labs, they're well paid. You know, they know they're creating death. They don't give a fuck. And we're going to test it on some dumb children in Africa. You know, maybe a small town in Ohio, you know, and then we're going to start releasing it, a lot of it. And they said this before the so-called, the fake, you know, the planned endemic. They even said it. There was some conferences they were having, you know, for the new century kind of a thing, just like back in 2000. You know, when they blew up a couple of buildings and started perpetual war in the Middle East, and everybody fell for it, you know. But now you've got veterans and shit that realize we got used. We go to the VA and we're getting fucked, you know. My body is broken, but you know what? I can still pick up a fucking gun and shoot bad people. So that day is coming. It's one voice. It's going to be one voice, you know, that's going to speak out and say something. And then everybody's going to finally get off of their asses, take their weaponry, and go out and seize control of this and restore the republic. Go to every government building and kick these motherfuckers to the curb. You know, it's coming. It's fucking coming. But that will be the problem, because then the fucking Zionist masters will say, all right, it's time to release the ones that's going to wipe all these people out, and there'll be nothing stopping that. Eventually, they'll go into their palatial bunkers, and the slave labor force will be held somewhere underground. There's like salt mines underneath Cleveland and Lake Erie. We'll just pack that full of people, feed them just enough to keep them alive, and then when it's all over, we'll bring them out and put them to work. And the robots will be directing people. We're already there. Fucking robots running everything, you know. Machines building machines. And I just saw something where Elon Musk is so proud, you know, of his Grok 4. He says this is so far ahead of everybody else's AI. He said it's solving, it's without even being asked, it's researching and solving problems that all the scientists and MIT people and everybody else cannot solve in weeks or months. This thing did it in a matter of days. And then when it learned how to do that, it started solving problems in a matter of hours. And pretty soon it's going to be down to solving any problem in a matter of moments. And when that happens, God knows what's going to happen. If there's no God anyway. There's no God. All the protocols. If you can find a copy of it online somewhere, save it and read it. Read the entire thing, because all these people talking about it, they don't fucking read it. They're not bothering reading it. If you read it, it's a blueprint for the last century and a quarter. Exactly what has happened. These people planned it back in the mid-1800s. Smartest guys in the room. Even Mark Twain said that. He said he condemned Austria for passing laws restricting the Jews because they destroyed every kingdom before that, every country. They financially just destroy them, and that's what they do. That's what they're doing to the world. You know, Mark Twain said he condemned the Austrian government for doing that, but then at the same time he said he postulated, and it's true. He says He says these Jews, maybe they are genetically smarter than everyone else. How else do they produce so many physicists? Well, it's true. You can look online now and see them, you know. Every fucking physicist is a Jew. They are genetically smarter than the rest of the world, and they know it, and that's why they decided, you know, a few hundred years ago, 300 years ago, they said, we got to stop this kingdom, and we'll set up kingdoms and destroy them. We'll set up governments and destroy them, and we'll do it all from the shadows. And we will eventually, it might take, you know, a few generations, it might take 200 years, 300 maybe, but we're patient people. We're smarter than everybody else. We're all going to live like kings, you know. And when the time comes, we're going to wipe out however many billion people are on the planet. We're going to keep a slave labor force. And, you know, enough children that we can keep fucking and raping. And the machines will serve us and keep the population under control. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that all of these viruses and shit, they keep mutating. That one day it'll mutate and take them all out. Just, you know, but don't kill them, you know. Paralyze them. So they can't do anything, even move their eyes, but they're still awake. And, you know, since they're nearly immortal anyway, that they won't need to eat or do anything. Their bodies will be self-sustaining, right? But they'll be alive. So they'll be laying there for, you know, 50, 100 years, unable to function, and their rule will cease forever. That would send them to hell. Could you imagine every single one, the guys that are ruling the world now, just suddenly were paralyzed and could not you know, contact anybody. They just lay there in hell as their bodies, you know, eventually over 100 years or however long these guys actually live, they just slowly decay. You know, laying there with a putrid. I just read or saw a couple of videos about Henry VIII, and which they don't teach in history anymore. How at the end of it, he was, you know, I was in England and I saw his suit of armor, at least, you know, before he became 400 pounds. The guy was big. He was like 6'3", 6'5", something like that, and just gigantic. And but at the end of his life, the end of his rule, he got sick. He was in a jousting accident because he used to just, you know, kill people for fun, basically. You know, besides, you know, cutting the heads off his wives and shit. He executed a lot of people. But at the end of his life, he had a wound from a jousting accident, and it started festering, basically. Then he developed wounds in his legs, and they turned into gigantic open sores. They had no way of treating it, you know. Probably flesh-eating bacteria or something like that. So at the end of his life, he was like delirious, like 400 pounds, because all he could do was sit there and eat the wrong foods. And he had these stinking, festering, you know, gangrenous open wounds all in his body. And they said that he smelled so bad. You know, these poor schmuck people that were serving him had to do his deeds. You know, can you imagine knowing that you'll be executed unless you wipe this guy's ass if you can find it? You know, get past all the fucking open wounds and gangrene and fucking rotting flesh and shit. Just absolutely horrific. That's what I wish for these guys that rule the world. That's what I want them to go through. But I want them to be paralyzed. They can't give orders. You know, they can't keep executing people. They can't communicate. They can't do anything. But they just lay there, you know, just rotting with maggots all over them. This fucking hospital shit. I'm done with it, man. I went, you know, you're going to see a cardiologist. I just saw a cardiologist not 3 days ago. Oh, this is your cardiologist. I also saw another heart specialist before that. Well, this guy, he needs his second home, you know. He's got to pay his bills. He's got to make sure he gets to that freebie concert in the Bahamas conference. And what did he do? The guy looked at me, and he's acting all kind of meek and weird. I'm like, I'm describing the same shit to him about these medications that I've described to at least 6 other doctors in the past month. More, maybe more. And he's got nothing to add. I'm gonna let's schedule a couple more tests. You know, they didn't do this. They didn't do they give you AKG, electrocardiogram, and they did all that. Okay, we can't charge any more for that. How about an ultrasound? Let's do an ultrasound of your heart. Schedule that for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll get some more blood. You're gonna another blood work. I just had blood work a couple of days ago. How the fuck it? No, no. They've taken so much blood from me. I got wounds all over, up and down my arms. There's a big one on that. That hurt like hell. This one still hurts. You know, Probably got infected. There's more here. Fuck me. I'm done with it. Anyway, YouTube won't let me see anybody see me, so that's okay. It's out there. It's in the ether. I gotta go. I'm sitting here just burning gas. I can't afford it.